Month of May continues to excite, and we are back in Detroit. Indy Next qualifying just completed, and as they roll out, we in IndyCar roll in. Welcome to FS1. It is still cold despite the sun coming out. The track temp up at 82 degrees now. Ambient 57. Much colder than yesterday, and that has made it incredibly tricky out on track all the way through the day. Qualifying, here's how it goes down. 2 groups of cars sorted by their final practice times, 10 minutes of on-track time per group to determine the 12 that go through. That then gets whittled down to 6 who fight it out for pole. Nice segue, James. Cars on track. Qualifying has begun.
Are on track. Group 1 listed there on the side of the screen there. It's an interesting split, this qualifying session, T-Bell. We do our traditional sort of try to guess who's going to make it out. And I got to say, it's kind of hard on this one. Certainly for Group 2.
Yeah, I got to 4 drivers and then really started to ponder out of 12 to transfer. I did have Dixon and Rossi, though. They're in Group 2. Part of my 6 picks to transfer out of that group. In Group 1, I've got Scotty Mack, Rosenquist, Lundgaard, Palou, Power, and Armstrong.
You don't have Louis Foster's circle.
I do not.
I find that interesting because he's looked good this weekend.
Yeah, I know, but
I'll tell you what,
I trust my gut.
Guys, as riding on board with McLaughlin's trying to get a little bit of gap. You can see the car in front. That's Ericsson in front of him. He's on the hard primary tires. Alex Palou is already out on the alternates. A few drivers are doing this alternate. Lundgaard's out on them. Callum Ilot's out on them. Kevin Simpson, Ferrucci, and Connor Daly all going with the greens right off the bat.
I think this speaks to what we talked about in practice 2 this morning. Now the sun's out. Tires will come in quicker, but I think the black tire is just the hard tire is taking too long for the fronts to come in, and the drivers are saying, listen, I can go pound around for 4 laps trying to get tire temp, but what are we going to learn? I like Palou's approach here. Let's go to the tire that really matters, and let's go learn it right away. And also at this circuit, high probability of a red flag coming out, so why not get it while the getting's good? That's what Palou's doing.
Spoke to Marcus Ericsson in between the sessions, said how long for that black tire to come in? He said about 13 laps.
Cool. Colin Hurta's fastest lap was on lap 17 with the set he was on.
Man. And you can tell already that Palou has front grip. He is able to really lean into those Firestones even on his first flying lap here.
And remember,
it's a much softer compound.
The start-finish line for qualifying between turns 7 and 8. So not on the normal start-finish stretch by the pit lane. It is between 7 and 8. And you don't have to be fastest in this session. You just can't be out of that top 6 if you want to progress.
James, look at how committed Alex Palou was there, ranking for turn 5. He comes through 6-7 right now. The line is here, and that looked pretty fierce and determined for a first hard lap. Palou goes 102.4.
That's a great first lap for Alex Palou.
You can hear those fronts, though, really chirping over the concrete.
So much of qualifying is getting out of these corners quickly. It's all these slow corners. You need great power down, great power delivery. And right now with those soft tires, you can just get to throttle so much more aggressively than what we were seeing guys do in practice. Track temp also up about 20 degrees from what we saw in P2 this morning.
So he'll get this one plus 1 more, according to Barry Wanzer, the strategist for Palou. They'll be timing out certainly the fuel remaining in the car, and Palou just seems to build from strength to strength here, corner to corner. A little bit of an issue with the back stepping out there in the brake zone.
Drivers down from P7 and below. You see if they're up against the P6 time. Green is up, red is down on that P6 time so far. Everybody from 7th and downwards. Now they go red. They were all looking good to that time as Lundgaard jumps up into 6th and drops them.
And then you see Palou went over half a second quicker there with that 101.6. Ferrucci with a 102.0. He's also on the soft tire. Top 3 drivers right now all went straight to the soft out of the pits.
So 5 of the top 6. DiFrancesco, the only driver in the top 6 right now who's still on the primaries. He had a strong run in practice as well. We saw him up around the front. He ended up 14th this morning, but he's been thereabouts for various parts of the sessions this weekend.
So we pick up Scott McLaughlin, currently down in 13th and down on the time that he needs. His teammate Will Power is looking good, so too Marcus Ericsson. Ericsson, who is feeling confident coming into this weekend. Power over the line, and it's not quite enough for him. It's 7th at the moment as Ericsson losing time and is now red in comparison to those up in the top 6. It's Lundgaard from Palou, Devlin DiFrancesco, Santino Ferrucci, Kiffin Simpson, and Callum Ilott in the Prema up in 6th.
But
just,
James, you mentioned DiFrancesco, super impressive that he is half a second faster than Will Power straight up on the same tires.
That's a great point. And I mean, trying to think here, Will Power's out there. That's a new set that he started on. DiFrancesco. Actually, hold on. We might be getting incorrect information there. Devlin is actually on the alternates.
Oh, he is?
Yeah, apologies. Misread the screen there.
Well, we're getting bad data on one. Well, we don't know, actually. We've got conflicting data.
And with no time to spare, drivers come in, slap on a new set of boots, and head back out again. Felix Rosenqvist hoping to march his way through.
Everybody nicely gapped right now, heading down into turn 3. I imagine it all sort of slams together when we get to 5 as they try to find that gap. On the pylon, all the times being shown are to 6th position, because that's all that matters right now. You've just got to be inside the top 6 to transfer. Alex Palou back out there. He is on a brand new set of the alternate. So 2nd sticker set for Alex Palou.
That's a surprise.
Track.
Think he needs it? Wow. You'd love to be able to save those if you make it to the fast 6.
And the interesting thing is Lundgaard and Palou are both under the best time that we've seen so far this weekend, either through yesterday's practice or this morning's practice. Admittedly, a bit warmer now.
It is. I just wonder if this might expose Palou if he makes it to the fast 6 by using 2 sets this session.
But does that show a little bit of perhaps what he needs? This hasn't gone his way so far this weekend. He hasn't been running every session in P1.
I mean, listen, Lundgaard's a surprise, right? Up there quicker than Palou right now. We saw lots of struggles from Lundgaard's teammate, Pato O'Ward. It just didn't seem like McLaren had a full handle on things, but Lundgaard impressing so far as he woes up before the line to try to get 1 or maybe 2 or maybe 3 clean final laps. He's got time to do it.
We sit on board with Lundgaard. Not traditionally a Chevy circuit. You need to be able to put the power down. It's the one thing the Chevys can't do. Traditionally, this has suited Honda Power more than Chevy. Every pole so far, and by every I mean both, because we've only raced here twice before. Honda Power, pole position. Honda Power, fastest lap. Honda Power, race victory. This is Honda's playground in Chevy's backyard. New sponsorship this weekend for Marcus Ericsson. Siemens branding on the side of the car, Microsoft as well. AWS on the car of Carl Kirkwood, also that Siemens branding that he ran at the Indianapolis 500.
Shows Ericsson about a second off to transfer on this lap.
Powers up, looking good in P9.
Ericsson, of course, on the podium here last year, now on board with Will Power. First laps on those green alternate tires, and they seem to be hanging on. They seem to be getting faster and faster. That first run where we saw the likes of Palou and Lundgaard do 3-4 laps on them, their quickest laps were the last ones. Very tight to the apex there for Power. This is looking neat and tidy.
Fascinating to watch how much more compatible the spring rate of Power's car is for the soft tire versus the hard tire. It just felt like when you watch the hard tire, he was riding sort of on top of the track. This softer Firestone, it looks to be a pretty dramatic difference in grip this weekend. That makes for a great race as Power comes across the line, and he will pop up to P3.
Yeah, nice lap from him. Keep your eyes on Ericsson, McLaughlin, and Rosenqvist as well. Rosenqvist, nip and tuck with him. Ericsson
on a big lap right now, tracking 0.6 of a second faster. We know these Andretti cars are quick. How quick are they?
P1.
The quickest. 0.2 clear of Lundgaard in P2. McLaughlin now trying to get his first representative lap on the softs, also trending very quick.
And it's top.
Wow. These times are falling, guys. Every lap that one of these cars does around here, more of that Firestone rubber goes into the racetrack. The grip gets higher and higher, and the lap times rather fall and fall. You saw there Connor Daly, he's sitting there in 11th at the moment. DiFrancesco goes by, and Ferrucci just knocks him out. Now he sits on the bubble in the 14. Everyone about to start their final laps.
Ferrucci's got to hustle here because if you look down the pylon, there's a lot of green. 5 cars trending to bump Ferrucci as Marcus Armstrong now bumps Ferrucci. Rosenquist puts Armstrong on the bubble.
And power to the top.
Whoa!
1 minute 0.9. That's the first lap we've seen this weekend that's dipped under the 1 minute 1 barrier. But look at all the green below P6. Everybody trending to improve. And this man, the championship leader, falls out.
And you called it, Will. This is exactly why Palou wanted to go double soft 2 green sets this session. They did not feel that confident. He's quick enough to bump Lundgaard, but he's nowhere near the pace of Will Power, and Palou is trending south right now.
Power right now stuck behind Rosenquist on track as we watch Devlin DiFrancesco through the last 2 turns. He's so close, less than a 10th off from transferring. Can he get it out of this last corner?
Rinus VeeKay up to 3rd. Checkered flag is out. DiFrancesco tries, but it's not quite enough. Ferrucci to 7th. What can Lundgaard do? What can Palou do? Lundgaard to 2nd. Palou trending around 4/10 of a second. Power to the top. McLaughlin in. Armstrong in.
And VeeKay on the bubble. That is a tremendous result for Rinus VeeKay if he can hang on here with just 5 more cars on track seemingly, but nobody trending the right way. So for Rinus VeeKay and Dale Coyne Racing, Mike Cannon moves over as race engineer for VeeKay. That is an incredible accomplishment in their first weekend together.
And I'll tell you who's going to be just devastated with this is Marcus Ericsson.
Oh, yeah.
Those Andretti cars have been so quick. They really shine on the street courses. Ericsson's going to come up just shy.
Connor Daly. He's going to be about 1.5 seconds down on where he needed to be in a P13 for Connor Daly. Not at all what he needed, but power goes through. Palou goes through. Lundgaard, McLaughlin, Armstrong, and VeeKay. All smiles. These are your 12 drivers who progress. Some you'd expect to be there. Others, perhaps not. Exceptional effort from Graham Rahal, David Malukas. Rasmussen's been on fire all weekend. And what about Rinus VeeKay with new engineering this weekend at Dale Coyne? But this guy, Josef Newgarden, he goes no further. Big impact with the wall. And out.
But as Foster said, for his first go in the big cars here, sounded pretty enthusiastic and excited to watch his teammate Graham Rahal maybe match his best qualifying of the season.
And fair enough. I mean, Graham did a great job to get up into the top 12. Of course, you had that front row start back at Indy Road Course.
Yeah, did a great job. Did a great job there. Some good surprises here, but Malukas has been on a charge all weekend. VeeKay, impressive too.
This is a big deal, though, for Graham, I think, to perform on a street circuit. You know, they've had so many issues, it seems like, through the years in terms of getting qualified well, and on a bumpy track to deliver like he is, and with a car that seems to be a solid step forward, really encouraging. We always know they go well at the Indy GP. That's sort of a given the last few years, but you know, to deliver this weekend, I think it's a big story. St. Pete, they were 21st was Graham Rahal. Long Beach, he qualified 16th. So on the 2 street circuits to start the season, this is already a high water mark.
Remember, his last win came on the streets of Detroit. It was Belle Isle back in 2017, but he does have good memories here. He has had some mojo here.
Slightly different proposition of a circuit.
A little bit.
A little bit.
Yeah, Belle Isle was bumpy, but it also had some faster corners.
2 Penske's, 2 Ganassis, 2 Andretti's, 1 each for McLaren, Shank.
Something happened there for Christian Lundgaard running wide. Sorry, Will.
That's all right.
Turn 8.
Rahal, Foyt, and Isia have got a car in as well as we ride on board with Lundgaard. Let's have a look at what happened to him. Was it another lockup into 8? It is a big lockup into 8, both fronts.
Double smoky on the softs, too. That's suboptimal, but I think he probably got out of it fast enough to not flat spot the tires too bad. As we take a look.
Drive through here.
Oh, did he cause a yellow?
Well, yeah, if there was a car coming through behind him, He hadn't set a lap yet, so there's no lap to take away, so you get a drive through. Everybody out there is on used softs at the moment, so everyone taking one of their sets from Q1 that they've run. Different number of laps, anywhere from 3 to 6 laps have been run on these tires.
Driving through, watch your pit speed, will help it blend out with traffic.
Rasmussen again, I know that's just the first lap. Significantly slower than what we'll see, but still it just shows him right away having the confidence to push. A couple tenths up on Kirkwood.
It'll be interesting to see just what the outright performance of a used green is here. Track temp 95 already, so rising quickly as the cloud cover has pulled back, and it is summertime again in Michigan.
Guys, we've not really talked about it a lot this weekend, but Alex Palou has had an incredibly intense week. Since winning the Indianapolis 500, he has been non-stop. Media commitments, flights, cross-country. He has not stopped. He turns up here hoping to put himself, I mean, he's going to hope on the pole. He is certainly going to hope top step of the podium, race winner come Sunday. But he's won every single race we've had in May, and has then gone on a whirlwind media tour for the last week. Just how exhausted would any normal human being be, but how exhausted will Alex Palou be, or not, given what we know of him?
I mean, what we know is that he's not a big partier, and frankly, I've been around Indy 500 winners on a Monday, and party's still going sometimes. But in the case of Alex Palou, sure get the feeling that he would have gone to bed Sunday night as a newly crowned Indy 500 winner, already thinking about this moment right here. It's just the way he's wired, focused forward, loves the challenge of street course qualifying. He's worked so hard to be not just a champion again, but be the outright fastest guy everywhere we go, and he's delivering right out of the gate.
Well, that's great on a set of old tires, a 101.6, as Herta puts in a 101.0.
Are those olds?
Are they olds or news?
Well, you can see the mold line on the right front for Kirkwood, so that's not Herta. But James is telling me you see the mileage.
And that's not even a mold line. I think that's just a little bit of wear, maybe a little bit of graining from pushing so hard on these green tires. Kevin, what are the cars talking about tire strategy down in pit lane?
So just to confirm, that was a used set of softs like everyone ran here in the beginning. So here's who has an advantage moving forward. I think everyone is going to the sticker set like you see of the softs, the brand new softs. But Palou, Dixon, Newgarden, Rasmussen, and Rahal have already used 2 sets of new to get through round 1. So they have a new set here, but then they'll be out. So advantage to any of those 5 that I mentioned. If they get to the Firestone Fast 6, they're going to have a fresh set to go. Everyone else will be on used, or they could go on the hard compound.
Yeah, Colton Herta sitting pretty right now in terms of that set. Still in the bag. Oh, Kirkwood. Awfully close to the wall.
I guess the changes they made to the 26 worked on those soft tires after all, and the risk of having the hard soft strategy in Q1 seem to be paying off right now as we see Power in, getting a fresh set of boots.
I got to tell you, on the strategy with 5 minutes to go, Malukas on a 101.1. That's a really solid time to transfer to the Firestone Fast 6. But fresh boots for everybody that's heading back out. There is your championship leader. Behind him, Will Power, who has been at the center of so many headlines, shall we say, but certainly highlights reels throughout this weekend, from picking up Kyle Kirkwood and taking him for a little drive around the track himself, a little bit of forklift truck action, to side-by-sides with various drivers this morning. Power has been on one here in Detroit, but he's also shown quite incredible pace, and he will be hoping to transfer to the Firestone Fast 6.
Palou checking his mirrors as the plow is right there, but not pressing. So much of this, too, is trying to bring the soft front tire in at the right temperature at the right time. And as Palou navigates his way on this lap, he'll be protecting the rear tires and not being too aggressive on power down. So just building the front tire temperature so that it can peak next time by. So this is hard-ish, but not a full push lap right now for Alex Palou.
Just about bedding it in.
You're ready to be mixture 3.
The fuel runs low, the car gets light when it's at its absolute optimum. Then you push. Then you take the chance.
Just trying to think about what the state of mind must be for Alex Palou right now. Massive, more than a 2-race lead in the championship. Indy 500 win. He's got the team, he's got the car. Every corner right now, Will, must be a pleasure. It must just feel amazing everywhere you go. You're extracting every bit of joy out of the pure experience of just driving, because what can you do at this point? Challenge yourself, right? How much better can I be? How much closer to the wall can I get? How much later can I brake? It's almost like a private track day for this guy.
And when you're enjoying your racing, how much easier does it come? When there's no pressure, when you can just go out there and have fun and not feel the pressure.
Well, 100% of your focus and your mental, aptitude is just spent on driving the race car. So normally, if things are rolling well, that's what kind of helps drivers do better. And we talk about momentum, right? And that's part of what that is you're not worried about your contract. You're not worried about your championship position. You can just think about driving.
It's driving in the moment, which is the process, right? You hear that all the time. It's being in the process 100% of the time and not thinking about the result. And I feel like that's the biggest challenge for the rest of this field is Palou has been in this happy spot long before he even had that Indy 500 win. He was jamming and gelling with his race team basically from the start of the season.
Less than 2 minutes on the clock. The top 6 is Herta, Malukas, Kirkwood, Lundgaard, Rahal, and Palou. And now we'll start to see the push laps. Now we'll start to see what everyone has got and who can possibly make it through into the Firestone Fast 6 here on the streets of Detroit. We're overjoyed to have you with us for our coverage here on Fox.
Just looking at these guys wrestle the car. Dixon's going to get 2 more here.
That
Still working there. That rear bias pretty aggressively.
Oh, Malukas on 1:00.8. Hello, Dave. Lovely stuff. Lundgaard to P2. Palou tracking almost half a second up, so 2 will power. Armstrong and Dixon there or thereabouts as Herta now jumps up to second on a 1:00.9.
Will Power nailed the brake zone for turn 3. That was some brilliant stuff over a very challenging and bumpy brake section as Palou comes across. Looks to be about 4/10 to the good over Rahal.
And he'll get one more crack at it. We see Power coming across. Palou up to second. Power's going to go to the top.
Wow.
Just pips Dave by 2/1000ths of a second. Here comes Rasmussen.
And I tell you who else is looking pretty nice. Graham Rahal on a lovely lap at the moment. Kirkwood not looking too bad either.
Dixon has that little short shift technique right there. He's done that the last couple years. I don't see anybody else using that technique. He just grabs the low revs and tractors it across as David Malukas once again improves. He should pit right there.
We're getting close to track record speeds here.
Guys, I think that's faster than pole lap was last year.
Faster than pole. The fastest time in qualifying last year was a 1:00.2. That would have been in Q2.
Herta 1:00.4. Times tumbling. Kirkwood goes P2. So from a Penske 1-2, it's now an Andretti 1-2. These will be the final laps. The checkered flag is out. Where is Palou? Can he jump up? He does to 5th, but it's not over. Drivers have to finish their lap. Can McLaughlin find some pace from somewhere? He's dropping back 2/10. No, I think that's going to be it. I think it's going to be the 2 Andrettis. We sit on board with McLaughlin. No, it's over. Over for him. So Herta, Kirkwood, David Malukas, Christian Lundgaard, Alex Palou, and Graham Rahal.
How about that? How about Rahal? What a lap from this guy right here.
Magic.
So impressive.
Magic.
Like you say, T-Bell, not the strongest type of circuit for this team.
But what if it is now? You know, what if they've turned the corner? Jay Fry, new leadership at Rahal, Letterman, Lanigan. They were fast at Indy, fast at the Grand Prix, and now fast on the streets in Motown.
Firestone Fast 6.
And I think I got a theory as to why you saw that, Georgia. What that would have been was they would have been putting those new sticker tires on Kyle's car when he got in to let the heat from the brakes soak through the rim and get into the tire a little bit, just help it warm up, then put the other tires back on, the used tires back on to do this first run. So, you know, similar sort of thing for Colton. The reason he's going to be using the scuff tires is they've got some heat in them. And we've talked about how hard it is to get those up to temperature. So even though they've been sitting since Q1, they're still going to have more residual heat in them than a brand new set. And that's probably more valuable for Colton in these first few laps of the Fast 6. But interesting strategy deviation there. Him the only car out there on the hards right now. And Malukas, who were just on board there, one of the only drivers with the new tires, like we said. It's going to be very interesting to see.
Who's your money on out of this 6?
Colton.
Colton for Townsend?
I'll go Kirkwood.
Going to Kirkwood. I'm going to take Malukas.
You're going to go Malukas.
I'm going to go Malukas.
Going Little Dave.
Why not? Shake it up a bit. Graham Rahal. I mean, do we want the stat? Because I think this is great. Last time Graham Rahal was 6th or better on a street course was Long Beach in April 2019. He started 6th. So whatever he does, he either equals that or goes better.
Well, he's going to qualify there, but he's actually not going to start there. Rahal one of 2 drivers that comes into this weekend with an engine change penalty, so he'll be getting a 6th position penalty regardless. But still, he's going to take the confidence out of this performance.
Yeah, we got to give it up. Certainly the engine, nothing Graham can control. That'll be a bit of a bummer, but he knew it coming in, and all he could do was the best possible, and he's certainly delivering for his team today as Alex Palou jumps up there. For me, why Colton Herta for pole? Colton Herta is too damn good to be this bad so far this season. No podium finishes. His best finish is 4th. I mean, come on. Highest paid guy in the series, has dominated on street circuits before. It just feels like it's time. He looks confident out there. I think Colton Herta's a pretty safe bet.
Rahal to the top, 1:02.472. Of course, if you've been with us the remainder of this session, you will have seen we're expecting times to plummet by at least 2.5 seconds before this thing is up. 4.25 minutes remain as Herta makes his way out on track on fresh softs.
Oh, I love the look of a glossy soft sticker, a freshie.
Best feeling. Best
Superman tires ready to go. Give me 4 gummies.
Nothing better than shiny rubber.
Herta, rather, kind of the first driver out of that string. Right behind him on track, you've got Palou, you've got Kirkwood, who have also just come in for their final set. Colton really just did an out and in on those hards to get the brakes up to temperature.
Oh, Malukas, 1:1.6.
He's not wasting any time.
No, he's not.
And a red flag does wonders for David Malukas right now, as Kirkwood will be backing off Palou here. Get a nice gap.
This is going to be another prep lap. They're not even trying to get up to speed yet. They know they're going to just do another lap at about 80%. Just prepare the tire, get the heat in it, get it to the pressure they want it at, the tire temperature they want it at, and then really go for broke.
And the trick of this circuit, the reason this is such a complicated and complex qualifying, is because, as Malukas stands to gain almost a second on his previous best, is it is just 1.6 miles. It is just 9 corners, and yet it is so bumpy. It is so treacherous. There is no margin for error.
This could be the lap that makes David Malukas a Team Penske driver next year. This is the kind of wow factor that you'll look for to give a young guy a big opportunity as Malukas goes 1:06.
That's huge.
Now really hustling. You can hear the tires screaming across the concrete.
2.5 minutes remain. Everybody else on track taking their time, bedding themselves in, all except for Malukas.
And this will be it now. Out of turn 7 for Colton Herta on the power. This will be the start of his lap, just crossing the alt-start finish line, right up to that apex curb in turn 8. You cannot leave an inch of margin if you want to be on pole here in the IndyCar Series.
I love the way Colton digs into the throttle on these laps. It's just absolute commitment. He's not afraid to ride the wall, use the wall almost as a little bumper, and put a little more lateral G into the cornering capability of his Gainbridge Honda. Let's see what he hits on the back straight.
It looks like he was only geared to 179 miles an hour.
So he's half a second down to Malukas, so I'm going to say one more until we see the big magic from Colton. He'll get 2 more, I think, on the clock if he needs it. Maybe not. He might just be short.
And Malukas is done. He comes into pit lane, so that is the benchmark. Malukas will not improve with 1 minute 16 seconds left on the clock. 1 minute 0.649 is the benchmark to beat.
And Colton Herta makes it across the alt-start finish. So 2 laps on offer for Colton Herta if he wants them. Here comes Palou.
Palou up to third. Kirkwood
3/1000th the difference between Herta and Palou on that first lap, but we saw Malukas pick up almost a full second on that second push lap. So this is going to be the one that matters as Malukas sits in pit lane and can only watch to see what everyone's doing. But right now,
Colton Herta's looking good, and Kirkwood.
Kirkwood is green to the time of Malukas. Everyone else mildly down. Herta, I mean, it's 1,000.
Oh.
It's there or thereabouts.
James, these were our 2 picks, but right now you're winning the battle. Kirkwood trending really well.
Wow. We've talked about it. He's the only guy that's beaten Alex Palou on the racetrack so far in 2025 with that victory in Long Beach from pole position. But Colton trying to do what he can. He's trending in the right direction.
Got a big chunk there through turns 6 and 7.
Herta over the line, and it's good enough for P1 as it stands. Palou with 3 seconds left will get another lap, and that will be critical for him.
Something went wrong for Kirkwood.
Yeah.
He just didn't have the same gap or the same delta working. Here comes Lundgaard.
Lundgaard to 4th. Could Rahal jump up from 6th? He does to 5th, and Palou's done. Palou's done as well. Everyone's in, so it's Herta on the pole 2 years in a row. From Malukas in 2nd, what a job from him. Then Kirkwood and Lundgaard, Rahal and Alex Palou down in 6th. But I wouldn't worry too much about that. That's where he started the Indy 500.
A huge result for Colton Herta to deliver after what happened to him at Indianapolis with the massive crash. This is a big deal to deliver what is expected of himself from his team. This is what we expect, I think, from Colton Herta. If he can convert this into his first win of the season, all the better. Great job from the Californian.
His first pole since Toronto last year. And he has looked good in qualifying. He's looked good in qualifying. He's looked fast throughout the year. He's been let down by mistakes on pit lane throughout the season. There's meant, as you said, Townsend, no podiums for him yet this season.
And for Kyle Kirkwood, something went wrong there. There must have been a mistake somewhere, some sort of issue, because he was trending even better than Colton on his lap, and it all went south. Maybe over in turn 3 would be my guess.
Rich reward, though, for Colton Herta and the Andretti team. You see Kirkwood looks on, and he's disappointed with himself.
He knows it. Yeah, he knows he left it out there.
How about Malukas will start on the front row?
What a job from him.
Hey, when's the last time 3 Americans qualified 1st, 2nd, and 3rd on a street circuit?
That sounds like
that's one for Bowles.
I was going to say, that's a Department of Statistics question right there.
And we're back in Detroit, where Colton Herta has taken pole for the 2nd year in succession here. But it wasn't easy, because he had to beat David Malukas, guys, who looked phenomenal and was ahead out of 3.
Yeah, Colton's the ghost here, and they were neck and neck through turns 4, but then you get down here, and it looked like Malukas was pulling away. But James, you talked about Colton's ability to get the power down at the exit, and that seemed to be the difference.
Slow in, fast out, gave up a little bit of time on the entry, but got a great run off, and at the line, there's the difference. Just about a car length between Herta and Malukas. Still a great result for both these drivers.
So this is what the grid is going to look like with penalties applied to Rahal and Dixon for engine changes. Kirkwood and Lundgaard row 2, Palou down on row 3 with Rinus VeeKay. McLaughlin then on row 4 with Will Power.
Yeah, Team Penske on row 4, but could see some excitement from row 5 with Marcus Armstrong been on the podium here before. Christian Rasmussen, arguably one of the most aggressive drivers in the championship these days. He is pushing 10/10ths everywhere we go.
Some guys out of position, guys like Rosenquist, Rossi, Dixon, O'Ward, not used to being this far back. They're going to be keen to try to make some positions up early in the race.
Talk about keen. I think Santino Ferrucci in the 14 car coming from row 11. And then, of course, Josef Newgarden, who had the wall tap and the broken toe link that put him out early. He apparently not happy at all and marched right from pit lane at the end of session. So he's going to be fierce tomorrow. It's just been a horrible season for Newgarden. 13th in points. His worst finish in his career, 14th in the championship. And that was his first full season in the IndyCar Series.
Has been a horrible year for Josef Newgarden. So far, an incredible year for Alex Palou, though, James, coming into this weekend.
And look, he talked about wanting to improve in qualifying. When he won the championship last year, 8.4 was his average starting position. So far this year, I know we're only a third of the way through, 4.0. He's picked it up, going to go for that podium. He'd only be the 5th guy in the last 20 years to come off a 500 win and get on the podium if he can do it.
Last driver to win, having won the 500, Juan Pablo Montoya. Get it, 25 years ago. Yeah, it's that rare. Join us back on the streets of Detroit tomorrow to see if Colton Herta can turn pole into victory.